left, someone said something stupid. Swipe right now, I'm watching what you did. Power down now, I'm at a disadvantage. But I think that it's worth it. I put my headphones on, I play my favorite song. I go to sleep and try again. Mama used to try and tell me no man isn't on it, but I think I feel like drifting away. Mama used to say tomorrow never comes, so make the most, but I think I am done with today. Done with today. Boss says, man, you gotta make an effort. Feel like all I do on earth is just say yes, sir. And when I tell people how they make me feel, they treat me like a leper. I put my headphones on, I play my favorite song. I go to sleep and try again, again, again. Mama used to try and tell me no man isn't on it, but I think I feel like drifting away. Mama used to say tomorrow never comes, so make the most, but I think I am done with today.
Beneath all the rubble, and all that runs through my flesh is a spirit of trouble. Under moonlit sky, I'm desperate to feel more alive, alive. Dreams that keep me wide awake. Call me up out of the
Alrighty, y'all. Welcome back to another live stream. So we're trying to get our goals connected or linked to transactions today, but the goals are acting full right now, so I'm just doing a little bit of debugging. Of course, everything was working on Thursday, or at least it seemed like everything was working on Thursday, but now the goals are having an end date when they're not supposed to, so I'm just trying to figure out what the heck is going on with that really quick, and then we're going to go ahead and start working. So Bank of America. So now if we do tracking expenses, recurring, not termed, weekly spending, done, 300, done. Okay, so it is recurring. There should be no end date. Now whenever we submit goal, let's see here. So it's this one. Why is there a termed end date on this for today? And recurring is true. Oh wait, recurring is true. So I guess we're just going to ignore recurring, since it's adding an end date for no reason. I don't know what the deal with that is. So I guess for now, it's not actually slicing it, I don't think. We look at this again. Oops. Because, no, it is slicing it, okay. I don't know where it's getting that from, because we're not setting a new date to it. I don't think. Or are we? Maybe I am stupid. Let's go back into our components. This might have been an oopsie on my end. Goals. Termed end date is a date. Do I set this to a new date like an idiot? I do. Oh, okay. That's stupid of me. Okay, so let's go. But why was this not broken the other day whenever we were doing recurring goals is my question. Okay, so I did do it an oopsie daisies. Let's say end date is equal to item. So it's gonna have end date is gonna be equal to item dot recurring question mark. If it's recurring, it's gonna be null. Otherwise, we'll say item dot end date question null. And there we go. Okay. So that should probably be in the last episode. I'll see if I can try to sneak that in there into that code base, and then it'll basically be the same as this. All right, so now we can get to what I actually wanted to work on today. So what we want to be able to do basically is be able to take, like, for example, we don't really know what these are, so it'd be nice if we could get a little bit more information on these transactions. But basically the goal would be like, okay, I want to click on this transaction here, and I want to be like, okay, this transaction belongs to the spending goal. Or maybe there's a transaction down here, like a big transaction for like $2,000 or something, and that $2,000 transaction is actually linked to something that we don't want to track, because maybe it was a credit card bill that we paid, the credit card balance, but we already like basically spent all the money on the credit card last month, and then so on and so forth. That's kind of like the idea there. Also, we probably want to put a flat list or like scroll view or something for this entire thing, and then maybe not use flat list for this. I'm not sure. Maybe just use a map for these. But again, this is just the basic simple thing that we're doing. And we're going to go ahead and deal with more of it later. So first things first for this, we need to, I think, create a junction table to store the links between them. So if we come back into our schema here in our DB, so we have our connections, our accounts, and I guess we don't need this counterparty anymore. Excuse me. I don't know how to do a compound key in Drizzle, but basically the idea would probably go ahead and be to do something like an export const, and then we'll have our transactions and say transaction goal, and then transaction goal junction table, or junction, I guess, equal to SQL, and then light table. And again, we'll go ahead and call this transaction underscore goal underscore junction. Okay, and then we need to open this up. So basically what I'd like to do is have like the transaction ID, and this will be an integer, and we'll go ahead and call this transaction underscore ID, like so. And then here we'll go ahead and do a, so now maybe we do, this wouldn't really be a true junction table though. Let me look up how to do a junction table in Drizzle. So SQL, we'll say Drizzle RM junction table. There's gotta be a way to do a junction table. So says you don't need, oh wait. Foreign key constraints, the junction table consists foreign key referencing composite primary key. Okay. User to groups, okay. So yep, we have, so this one does do the references. Okay, so we have a transaction ID, dot not null, and then dot references, and this is going to go ahead and reference transaction. I think like I spelled transaction dot ID like that, and I think I spelled transaction wrong here, maybe not. Okay, and then we'll have our goal ID, and then this is all to an integer. And then here we'll go ahead and say goal underscore ID, then not null, can't see anything. And then references, and then this will be goals.id. And then after this, we need to do one of these. So then we come here and then do one of these. It says T. What is going on here? What happened to this? It ate my thing. Stop it. This says T. It's kind of gross. And then it has primary key, like so. And then columns, colon, T dot transaction ID and T dot goal ID. That's really yucky. We might need to import the primary key maybe. Whoops. Yeah. Yep. And then goals.id. We need to go ahead and make this a error function. Okay, so so that should, in theory. Oh, sorry, Zena. I still need to work on that. How's it going? Good morning. I need to tone down Nightbot. It's been a minute. Hope you're doing okay. That's good. That's good. I'm doing pretty well. Get to work on a different project for once. So we are making a budget tracking application that I am planning on using. So that'll be fun. And yes, I know. Say transaction to goals, I guess. Or how do I want to call this? I know that there are ones out there, but this is kind of like a learning experiment. Yeah, we'll say transaction to goals type of, and then transactions, transaction goal junction dot $, and then infer select. What's crazy is how that I'm working on this or something else. Yeah, I know that there are already things that do this for you, but I want to learn how to use this. Oh yeah, I appreciate the logo, looks great. Oh, I missed the your logo is crazy. For giving me goosebumps. I completely skimmed over it. Yeah, I love it. It's great. I think I've gotten it changed everywhere. I need to double check Twitter. I don't get on Twitter much, but I changed it on YouTube and Twitch for sure. Okay, so now I need to run the migration. Oops. I'm going to... I appreciate the work. It looks great. Hopefully I'm assuming you save all the files in some sort of archive, because whenever we do get to the point of... what is this in? Is this in Drizzle? It is. Whenever we get to the point of being ready to do the YouTube background and end screen, I'm planning to use the logo with like the same background, just like a little bit bigger. Okay, let's go ahead and run this migration. So just npx drizzle kit generate. Okay, looks like it created everything. That's cool. Okay, let's go ahead and run start test. Hopefully no errors. What should you have it say, or what should... I'm not doing it right at this moment, but whenever we get to that point, we can talk about it. Now that I at least have a logo, my next goal is to get a GPU for my computer so I can start playing games again. But it'll probably be like pretty generic, just say like unknown coder or something. And maybe I'll have one. Oh no, I'm tempted about making like a new channel at some point. So yep, I'm gonna try to get a new GPU so I can start gaming on my channel as well. Okay, so now what I'm thinking is I want to, which I mean I already play Minecraft obviously, but I was doing a lot of exploring the other day on stream and it was kind of laggy. So how much does a GPU cost? Well, before, like whenever I was looking around Christmas time, they were like $580 to $600. And then my luck is that there's a shortage again. So all the GPUs are going up in price. So the GPU I want now is like, I think you can still get one for okay money. I'll look in a second. Weekly spending. Don't judge my styling and stuff on this. This is still prototype. Of course the tracker is broken. Why wouldn't it be? There's always something with this dang app. Okay. Now what's going on with this? This is all just prototyping at this point. Where did my thingy-majig go? My spending overview. There's always something with this dang app. At least the goal is showing up. But so I do a white theme. My PC is like a white theme PC. So I'm thinking we're gonna go with this guy, this white MSI, for $640. This was like $580 not that long ago. And like you used to be able to get the Founders Edition from here for $599 or $550. Like I could go with this one for $550, but I really want a white one to match my computer. So it's probably gonna be like this one for $640, which is insane because these used to be like $580. So they went up like $60. Alright, I don't know if like I broke a mapping or something here. But let's see what's going on with this. I don't even see weekly spending or monthly spending. Let's see. So the budget is now showing up like it's supposed to. And let's see. There's always something with this dang app. If we go into setup, or not setup, our index screen. So transactions, spending overview. Transactions.length is greater than 0. Pretty sure our transactions is .length is greater than 0. Let's print that. And when I print it, it's probably going to show up again. User question mark .transactions .length. Unless the transactions aren't being mapped properly, which is what I was going to work on next. Yeah, there's 120 transactions. What do you mean? What do you mean? It's right here, brother. By get rid of this. Either that or the styling is just broken. Bro, what? Is the spinning overview itself broken? What's going on with this? Make sure we got transactions. We have transactions. So why are you not showing up, bro? That doesn't seem like 120 transactions. But there are transactions there. Okay, so what's going on here? Income is... Oh, is income 0? I bet income is negative. Is that it? Yeah, that's probably it. Let me... Okay. Income's probably over less than 0. What happens whenever you mess with the this random data? Okay. User ID is username. I bet we got a bad batch of data from our sandbox environment. If you don't mind me asking, Zenner, how's your big project going? If you're still here. I know you got a really big package to work on. So hopefully that's going well for you. Okay, I'm just gonna get screwed here, I guess. There is income. Why is this not showing up? Console.log. Income. Although we don't want to do it in here. Because if there's income and there's spending, income... Is income negative somehow? Income is 0. Why is income 0? I can literally see a positive transaction. Thought I saw a positive one. Yeah, 122. It is in a 53. What is going on with this? Still 0. The spinning is... Let's see what's going on here. This was working, so what is the deal? Running income. If amount is greater than 0. Amount is transaction.amount. Number for 0. Is it not coming back as a number for some reason? Console.log amount. Transaction.id comma amount. Actually say transaction dot and then amount. Then there's something funky with our data right now. What is going on with this? Someone getting 4. Okay, why are we only getting 4 transactions? We clearly have more than 4 transactions. Bro, what is going on with this? User.transactions.linked. We're definitely getting transactions. Oh. Okay. We're still getting some bad transactions from... Okay. Let's just keep refreshing this until Teller wants to give us back some good data that has transactions with... Let's see what's going on. All the transactions are in a different month. Tracking expenses. Weekly spending. Okay. 300. Done. Get rid of this. Drop down. Maybe. Here we go. There we go. Okay. We're just getting some bad data. And now we can see everything again. Not me wasting 20 minutes of stream trying to figure out why the heck this wasn't going up. Okay. So now we want to be able to take our transactions and map them to different things. So what we're probably going to need to do, one, is start mapping. So like whenever we load up here, whenever we call like the load, this persists new account, either this or this one, I think, these transactions. We just get the transactions from fetch and persist account details. So I think inside of our fetch and persist account details, we're going to change the transaction type that's stored on this user, and we're going to create like a context transaction, and we're going to append the we're going to append the, or find basically the goal that is attached to it to track it. So if we come into our types, we only have teller types right now. So schema, let's see. So I'm assuming in our services in global account, our user is using, yeah, transaction. So what we could do is we could export a type from here and clean it up later, which I think we'll probably just do. So we're gonna have an export type, global user transaction, like so. And this is actually gonna be an interface, export interface, global user transaction. And then I think this can extend the schema dot transaction, I think. Whoops, wrong one. Okay, and then we can say mapped or tracked, whoops, tracked goals maybe. And then this can either be a list of goals or this can be like an integer ID. We might just map this by ID. Maybe. So what we'll do is we'll just say number array maybe. So now it has all the stuff from our schema transaction, but it also is going to have the tracked goals on it, and we'll see how this breaks. So now instead of a schema.transaction, this is going to go ahead and be a global user transaction array, and we'll see where this breaks. Index might be mad at us. Transactions, yeah. So now here, this fetch persist mock details is not returning what we're expecting. I think that's fine. We can get rid of this and get rid of this. And then it's probably gonna be an issue in like layout or something as well. Or let's see, this layout maybe. I think here's where we also mess with this whenever we load up initially. Yeah. So, and this is still just the fetch and persist account details and fetch and persist mock account details. So now what we can do is go into our, I don't know if this is in our services or, so this is in our teller service. So now in our teller service, fetch and persist account details. Updated accounts, we have our persisted accounts, our transactions to persist, and then this just returns the transactions, and then this does this. Okay, before we, basically what we'd want to do, now the only issue here, what we could do is we could, does this map here is mapping the transactions that we got from wherever and persisting them, and this is also persisting them. And here, I think we'd map it here. We might have to do a little bit more work, but here we'd say like dot map. And now the transactions, we're gonna go ahead and say const goal for transactions with goals is equal to, and then we'll go ahead and say, because this, since this is in the teller service, I guess we do have access to the data store. So what we can do, it can be difficult now because we don't have any way to actually do this. But we have const transactions with goals is equal to, we need to map, we need to do like a double map. This is not fun. We need to do like a join. And then flat map them. Let's see. There's a RM join data with junction table. This might be the best way to do this. Looks like we might need to do like one more thing. Okay, so it looks like what we could do is define a relation. So we might need to do one more thing here. Let's undo this for now. Oops. Let's undo this. Excuse me. Stuff's still gonna be broken, that's fine. If we go into our schema, it says you can do an export const relations is equal to define relations. And then here, maybe we call this transaction to goal relation, because that's what it is. And then it says define relations, and hopefully this is not pulling my leg. And this will go ahead and take in transactions. It'll take in not groups, it'll take in goals. And it'll go ahead and take in the transaction goal junction. Okay. I can't tell what's going on here. Okay, and then it takes in a relation. Relation like so. Can I like try to import this? It says define relations does not exist. It says it comes from Drizzle ORM. Let's try to bring it in. Yeah, it says Drizzle relations does not exist. What about this? Let's see. Data types, indexes, views, extensions, Drizzle relations. This is beta. Ooh. Okay, so we can't actually use this. Because this doesn't actually work. Because this is in a beta. This is beta, okay. So let's see here. Instead, let's try to join these, I guess. So this won't work because it doesn't exist in this version. We'll get rid of this. Maybe if this ever goes live, we can use it. Shouldn't be that hard to do an inner join. I just haven't done inner joins in a long time. Okay. So that means that in our teller service, what we'd want to do is we have all the transactions that we've persisted and everything. We map them to a regular transaction. Okay. Yeah, we are persisting those. Okay. Then after we have all the transactions, we'd want to get. So let's see here. So there's left join. I don't know if we want. I think we just want an inner join. Right, we want to join. How do we want to deal with this? I mean, the other thing we could do we need to make a new. The only thing is that Like, we could try to flat map these, but I was gonna say the only thing that kind of makes it difficult is that there could be multiple goals tracked to one single transaction. Like, we can definitely do like the const tracked goals is equal to, and then do our await data store dot, and then I don't remember how we do this. Is it data? Is it not data store? We have to say db.select. That is data store. I might not know what data store is. It might be an any. Let's see. Yeah, data store is just coming from or use global context, so it might not know. But we should be able to say tracked goals is equal to await data store dot select. And then I forgot how select actually works. Select dot from, and then this is going to be from transaction goal junction. And then let me look at other select queries. I want to get like all of them. I think that should get all of them. So we can see what this returns. Make sure that obviously it's not gonna like display anything because hopefully that's not an actual issue. We might need to restart the app. So if we go ahead and say Ethan, right now it's not, it should just return an empty array right now, because we don't have any mapped transactions, obviously. Okay, tracking expenses, weekly spending. Okay, goal amount 300. Submit. Yeah, so it returned an empty array. That's what we expect. And maybe what we do for now. That's what we expected. So for now, let's go ahead and instead of returning updated accounts, we can still have our transactions.sort. We'll say const user, what do we call this in the global context? Global user transaction. Okay. So here we'll go ahead and say const global user transactions is equal to, and this will be a global user transaction array, is equal to all transactions.map. But now we'll just say t, and we'll do this actually, t return ... t, and then our tracked goals will obviously just be an empty array for now. And then now we'll go ahead and return, instead of all transactions, we'll go ahead and return global user transactions. And that should fix up a lot of the issues that we have. And then in mock service, we need to do the same thing. So in mock service, whenever we are, let's see here. So there's our transactions, fetch mock user. So here we'll need to go ahead and say, we need to go ahead and say const, and this will be global user transactions is a global user transaction array equal to transactions.map. Go ahead and map t, do the same thing. Whoops. T, and then tracked goals. I don't know why it's not showing up. Transactions.map. Oh, we need to return, that's why. Fix this. Dang it. No, that is what we want. I'm just breaking everything. Turn T, comma, tracked goals is equal to an empty array. Whenever we come back in and do this stuff, we'll probably update this, and then transactions will be ... And then this is going to go ahead and be global user transactions. Okay, and then we have the same thing here. We'll have to go ahead and map. So this gets just the mocked account, or this just gets the mocked. But yeah, that's just the mocked accounts. Go ahead and mock transactions. And then here we're going to have to map these again. So we'll just go ahead and say const global user transactions, the global user transaction array equal to mocked transactions dot map each transaction, return ... T, and then tracked goals is equal to an empty array. And we'll go ahead once again, our transactions will be our global user transactions. And that should, in theory, fix that. There's still an error somewhere, so let's see. So index transactions. So I think we need to update the return type on these. Yeah, so I'm assuming in our teller service. So now instead of returning, so we need to find this fetch and persist account info response. And it's in here. Fetch and persist. Now this is going to be a global user transaction array. And that should fix our errors. Yes. Okay, cool. Now whenever we fetch this stuff, we'll go ahead and map the goals. So that was a long-winded way of setting this up. Now the only issue is going to be we need to now we need a way of actually tracking a goal. So what is our global context map about? Fetch user from database. Okay, so we need to map these too. Const user, global user transactions. The price this wasn't mapped somewhere else is equal to transactions dot map. So we're going to have to do it here too. Whenever we first fetch these from the database. And then here we're going to go ahead and say what do we want to say here? Going to be return ... T, and then tracked. I don't know why goals isn't showing up. Transactions dot map Is it because I don't have... Maybe it's because it might not have transactions. The promise all. Yeah, it thinks it's not. So we're gonna have to say like, oh, we want persisted. That's why. Persisted transactions. We'll say const, and then this is gonna go ahead and be const global user transactions, which is a global user transaction array. Whoops, is equal to persisted transactions dot map t return dot 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 t, and then tracked goals is equal to an empty array. Again, this needs to be, what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to do a service for either for our goals, probably will be my guess, and use that in a couple different places. So now this will be global user transactions. Oops. That should fix that issue. Mock service might also be broken somewhere else. Fetch mock user, that should be fine. Okay. What is this error? Native database sync. No pointer. I don't know what this problem actually is. We restart the app, what happens? Make your account. Tracking expenses. Weekly spending. Okay. Submit. Okay, no error that time. The other challenge is going to be getting, like, figuring out like which goals. So I think, yeah, we just need like a function that maps them. Because we also need to like keep track of like if the goal is active, right? Like, because if the goal is not active, we're not gonna, I mean, we'll track it, but we don't want to count the transaction towards the goal, I guess, but that's a different issue. Okay. So I guess let's maybe start working on the ability for a transaction to be mapped to a goal for the time being. So to do that, what we'll need to go ahead and do is go into our components. Let's go ahead and make a transactions folder. Whoops. And we'll make a transactions card.tsx for the time being. And we'll go and export and transaction. Actually, I want to call this transaction card. Transaction card is a react.fc. We're going to make this very simple. This will take in a, we'll need to set up a prop for that, but we'll do that in a second. Return a view. Okay. Export const. And let's go ahead and rename this to transaction card. Okay. So this will have to go ahead and be a interface transaction card props. Okay. Open this, not like that. This. And we'll have our transaction, which is our maybe we do want to do it by name for the entire goal. Because that might be easier. How do we want to do this? We obviously want the global, the transaction. We gotta think about how we want to deal with the goals. When we have the global interfaces with all the users' goals, like, that's not an issue, I guess. It is what it is, I guess. Okay. So now we're gonna go ahead and take this guy, transaction, and we'll go ahead and come into our app and our index. And let's go ahead and yoink the code out of here. This basic oh my goodness, this basic code right here. And what we can do is take this and this, yoink that. We can go and just return. I don't know why we have an account here, because we're using the account name. I guess we'll want that as well. We want literally all of this. We'll just return a transaction card. For the transaction equal to item.item. Maybe not item.item. Just item. What is this transaction? Data is user.transactions. Item.amount. This is an account? Wait, what? No, that is a transaction. Why is user transactions? Did I not update this? Go back to our global, or I changed this in our global context. Global context. It is transactions. The global user transaction. So why is it saying that user.transactions? It is global user transaction. Item doesn't have the tracked goals though on it for some reason. Even though the data is user.transactions. That's strange. I broke everything too, by the way. Yeah, it doesn't have. This is acting like it's the other transaction, even though it's user.transaction. Why? Oh, it's because of schema. I see. This is going to be a global. Why is global user not showing up? User transaction? Why is our global user transaction not showing up? Global user transaction. There. Now I should be able to take this. Return a transaction card. The transaction is equal to item. Then we can save that. We're not going to see anything still. Then we go to our transaction card. Paste this. Okay. So yeah, now we need access to. It's going to be transaction.date now. And transaction.date. Okay, we need access to our user. We could just pass it. I might just pass the user. User. But then that kind of defeats the purpose, but it is what it is. We already have the transaction, but whatever. Then we can at least know that the user is actually loaded. Not to do a bunch of checks. Now an index transaction user is equal to user. We know user exists. And then we can come back in here and we need to import this. Well, let's deal with this first. So this one is going to be transaction account ID. So we can import this. Maybe. Going to be difficult on us. Okay. And then here, this will be transaction amount. Okay. And it broke everything. That's fine. We'll fix it in a little bit. Do a refresh of the app. My name in. Link our account. Hopefully we get a good lottery draw here. Tracking expenses. I'm gonna have to find a way to make it so like we scroll if this thing is open, but I'll figure that out later. Okay, submit and complete. We did not get a good draw this time. Whatever. Okay. So we basically need to be able to click on one of these cards. And I'm just gonna like look at our Figma. I'm not obviously gonna build what's on the Figma completely. I'm just gonna take a peek at the Figma to see kind of how we're doing the transaction. Those are our accounts. Oh, never mind. Those aren't the accounts. Those are. Okay, so. Basically what we got going on here is it's going to be another card. So like what we'd want to do is we'd want to make a card that we can use for everything, obviously, but for the time being we're not. So what we have is we have our card. We'll have an on press, so this should actually be a touchable opacity. Make this into a touchable opacity. And then on press, we'll do something. Open it basically. And then here, we'll have a left. We'll have a right. Let's actually, I'm gonna go ahead and, oops, annotate these just so y'all can see. So card left, oops, content, and then we'll have a card right content, which is just going to be like a cog to click on. And then we're going to have, we need like a piece of state. Const, whoops, is open, set is open is equal to a use state. Bring that in. So boolean and false. Okay, and then we'll say is open and okay, so we're going to how do we want to do this? We're going to need to have a view wrapping both of these. This will be like our flex view. It'll be like our flex view, and then is open. We'll have another view with the content inside of it, right? So this is like our flex view, content, flex area. Okay. And then in here, we'll go ahead and say const toggle transaction settings equal to, and then this will just be like this. And then we'll go ahead and say set is open, open, not open. And then on press, we'll go ahead and toggle transaction settings. And then styles equal to, and then this will go ahead and be transaction card. Might just call it transaction card. Styles dot transaction card, which doesn't exist. So now we go ahead and say const styles is equal to style sheets dot create, I think. Style sheets. Oh, style sheet. Let's see. How do we do this? I always forget. This style sheet dot create. Why did it not show up? Go ahead and do this. Paste that in. Go. What is your problem? Did I not import style sheet from the correct place? Didn't import at all. Love that. Okay. And this should just be equal to style. Let's just lay out our style here. So now this will be transaction card. Okay. This will be our style equal to, and this will be styles dot transaction card content flex or something. Sure, you can call it that. Doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to lay these out. So transaction, whoops, transaction card, And then content flex. All right. So then we have that. Then maybe we have our transaction card content container. All right, and that's what this guy is. So now we have our style equal to styles.transaction card content container. And the thing is, like, all this is probably going to be deleted, so I'm not doing anything crazy here. And then this will be our transactions per transaction card content icon container, maybe. Same thing here. So now this one will have a style equal to styles.transaction card content icon container, and then style equal to styles.transaction card, and this one will be tracking content or something. We'll go ahead and make that real quick. Transaction card tracking content. And maybe we say container just to be safe. Tracking content container. Cool. Now we kind of know what's going down here. All right, so now inside of our content container, we're going to go ahead and have a text. And then this is going to be $sign. And then we want to probably go ahead and set this up so that what's the word for this? We want to format the dollars, but it is what it is. So the text is going to go ahead and say transaction dot amount, like so. And I'm hoping we might need to strip the negative or positive from this. We'll see. Okay, and then below this we'll have text, and then this will go ahead and be the transaction dot, actually it's going to be account dot name, I think. And then we'll also go ahead and say account dot last four. We'll have that, and then we'll have one more piece of text here that's going to go ahead and be, we want where the payment went to. So this will be transaction dot, I think we can do counterparty name, hopefully. Counterparty name, and then the date. Then we'll also go ahead and say date, maybe. Maybe we do that. And let's see. Object date not found. I don't remember how we had this set up before. Might be because we need to do 2 ISO string or something. Or 2 date string. 2 local date string. Perfect. Go ahead and do all this again. This is why we use mocks, people. I don't know why I chose Bank of America again, because Bank of America is not working right now. But it is what it is. Wait, spelled that right? I did. Okay, submit, and it's broken. Set the database. I scuffed something there. What is going on here? Something's broken. Let's restart it. Nice thing about having it set up to reset the database in test mode. Database is locked. What is going on with this? Should be dropping the database. What is going on? Database is locked. Reset database. Do I need to update the reset database? Let's see. No. DB execute sync. What is the problem? This says rejected. Database is locked. I haven't seen this one before. Scuff the database. Database is locked. I haven't seen this one. It shouldn't be trying to fetch data, so I don't know why. I'm gonna rerun the migration really quick. npx drizzle generate, I think. Because it should be resetting the database on load up. And there shouldn't be any data in it. Why is database locked? Failed to create tables. We might need to like I don't know where this database is. All of this should be fine. Bro, there's always something with this. I don't know where our data is being stored. Otherwise, I would just delete. I don't think I can look at dbeaver either to view this. Otherwise, I would. That's the thing that sucks about running off this. This should be deleting the database and rerunning it, but it's not deleting the database. There's still data left in the database on load up. Because if you go in the drizzle, it's not going to connect. Yeah. Hmm. Success false. Failed to run query. I wonder if I think you can. Because that's the thing, right? It's gonna run this. I wonder if I just say really quickly. Just drop table if exists. In this SQL. Drop table if exists counts. See what pops up. Nothing. Trying to delete the database, but I can't still. Bro, why? Should be resetting the database. I might need to run this manually. What happens if I delete the drizzle table? It's probably gonna break completely. Yep, that's fine. Okay. No, I really broke everything. I'm not running, that's why. Bro, I love wasting so much time on stupid shit like this. Like, why? Why are you not dropping table? Every once in a while we just get this thing in a state. Remove the table definition from your file. So it says if you, we can try this. It says to remove the table definition from your schema and generate a new. So we go into our schema.ts and delete literally everything out of this. Like so. And run npx drizzle dash kit generate dash name drop and recreate. Okay, and then if we add them back, save, we can go ahead and say recreate tables. Now what happens if we run this? Now it should drop the table and then create the table. Bro, why? There should not be data in here. This shit's pissing me off, bro. It gets called in. Like, we shouldn't be getting user state. That's what's pissing me off. Like, we shouldn't be finding anything. Well, this is failing anyway. I think that's the issue. I'll really drop this. I don't know what's gonna happen inside of. Well, let me delete that. Empty. Okay. Try this again. Literally deleted everything. Failed to run drop accounts. Literally waste so much time with stupid SQLite database, bro. Why? Why? Can't drop table accounts. Delete this. I'm gonna lose full, bro. I'm actually gonna lose full at this stupid fucking thing. I don't know what we did to scuff this, but it is bad. We have this really fucking broken right now. I don't know what happened. But our migration just does not work anymore. Whatsoever. So that's cool. Trying to drop tables before. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Like it's trying to call reset database. Yeah, we did the drop tables. Failed to run query drop tables. Of course. I hate this, bro. So it really does not like this. It's like right now reset database is breaking everything for some reason. I don't know why. Oops, I don't know what I just clicked on. Still trying to drop tables for some reason. I don't know why it's trying to drop tables. Okay, so generate this. I don't know why user only has 2 columns. Let's double check that. Makes sense, I guess. Okay. Can't create table. Still saying caused by error. Native statement run sync has been rejected. Bro. I don't know why it's failing. Let's go and say expo SQLite completely reset database. I don't know why it's breaking. We were making good progress until this. What a vibe kill, bro. Yeah, it's still failing to create the table. Like, I wonder if I just need to, like, shut everything down. Close out of everything. It's acting like... Although I don't want to break... I'm worried that if I close out of this, it's going to... Because it's acting like there's a different instance using... I mean, according to the error, there's like a different application or something using our database still. So it failed to create table, but it actually loaded. Let's see. We come back into our app and layout, and then we hit reset DB and completely close out of everything again. Like maybe our Expo Go had like a synced version or something going on. I don't know. Bro, I don't know what the hell is going on there, but we just wasted way more. Oh, I just closed out of my... I don't know what happened there. Let me reopen this real quick. I swear, man. Cool. Now my screen copy just crashed. Brother. And Task Manager won't open? I'm actually losing full, bro. Let's see if it's running in the background. Not. Dude, what the hell? Bro, run. Okay, well, I guess screen copy's broken. That's cool. What a disaster. Okay, you guys can't see this, but it's just going to have to be what is for the time being. Oh, it's because my phone came unplugged. Okay, one sec. I'll fix it. Okay, let me replug this in. Got bumped. Word to the wise, don't be a mobile dev. I must have bumped the cord just right. There we go. Okay, now we have transactions. And yep, so whenever we get to like really messing with stuff, we'll deal with like making these look pretty. But back to our components and our transaction card. So I might end up turning these like into features or whatever. We need like a switch or something. React Native Expo switch component. I might just grab one for now and then I'll design one later. It looks like we do have a switch. React Native. Let's see here. So it's just called switch. Let's start putting some stuff together here really quick. We'll have another view. And then we'll have a switch from React Native. Let's see how we use this. So this has a track color. Let's just go ahead and say, and this is false, will be white, I guess, or gray. I'm just doing like a default type color, and then true will be white. And then we have a thumb color. Thumb color equal to here I don't care. We're just gonna go ahead and say like, let's do like a dark blue. Let's just do black to make it easy on ourselves for the time being. Okay, thumb color's black. Don't care about iOS background. On value change, we need to go ahead and set up. And then value equal to, so we'll go ahead and say we have is open. We'll say const, and then track towards bending. Set track towards bending is equal to use state of a boolean, and this will be start out as true. And actually this is going to go ahead and start out as transaction dot and then tracked. What is your problem? Do I have to do this? Transaction tracked. Whatever. Okay, value is going to go ahead and be track towards spending. And then on value change, go ahead and say const toggle track towards spending. So this is going to need some other logic. Other logic to update tracked in DB. So that'll actually do that. But we'll also go ahead and say set track towards spending. Tracked, not tracked. So, and then now we can go ahead and close that switch. And we can also go ahead and say toggle track towards spending. So now we should be able to click on one of these transactions. Yep, so that looks like trash. But, oh my gosh, we're going to have to work on this. And why is it all the way over there? Who knows? Okay, but we have a switch. And then we'll have some text that says track towards, oops. Text says track towards and then monthly expenses. Why the switch is over there? Who freaking knows, bro? Probably some way to move it. looking at. Doesn't help that much, but okay. I'm gonna make a custom switch. I don't know why it's pushing it all the way over there. We'll deal with that later. That'll be like our this, and then we'll have another view, and then this will go ahead and say like a text. Says track. Whoops. Track towards goals, like so, and then this will have a view, and then inside the view we need to actually get the user's goals, and then this is basically going to be like, let's get the user's goals. We have the entire user, so we can basically say like user question mark or user dot goals dot map each goal, and then this will go ahead and return, and we'll return a view, and then inside the view we'll have a text. This will say goal dot name, and then we need to say like, we need a way of knowing if it's tracked or not. So like this is where we're gonna have to do like a little bit of logic where it says like of another view, we'll do transaction dot tracked goals dot sum goal ID, and goal ID is equal to goal.id question mark. So if our goal ID is inside of those goals, we'll have a X icon. So let's go ahead and look at expo icons. Forgot what these are actually called. Vector icons directory. Here we go. Let's look for an X or a close, maybe. Yeah, close. Now I gotta look at how we do these again. So space E. We're using one of these in, I'm sure we're using one in like setup or something. Or actually we're using it inside of our goal tracking card or goal setup screen card, because we have an up and down. Yeah. So we'll do this. Import that. And this will go ahead and be close. Otherwise, have an ion icon. And this one will be plus or something. Yeah, plus. We'll figure out what's going on with this in a second. Okay, what is going on with this? List should have unique key. Sure, goal.id. Okay. Okay, this one does not like name plus. I'm literally looking at it right now. Actually, I should probably look at ion icons. Let's try that. It's not called plus, it's called add outline. Okay. So now we click it, it opens up, we have track towards monthly expenses with this guy, and then track towards goals, we have this, and then if we had more goals, it would list all of them. Although I don't see, instead of white, it should be zeros. right? And then this is actually supposed to be a touchable opacity and a touchable opacity. And then on press will equal to a function that says const track goal or something. And this is going to take in like the goal or the key maybe. React native press event take in value from event object or something. Let's see. Does not. So you can pass them in here. Okay, so what we'd want to do is just goal schema.goal. We need to import schema. We could pass the schema ID actually, or the goal ID, and the transaction ID, I guess. And then here, what we're going to do is, I hate the way this works, but it calls track goal, and this will be the goal to ID and transaction. I guess we already have the transaction, so that doesn't matter. What's your problem? On press track goal equal to the one, we only want the goal ID here. Be a number. Okay, and then now what are you mad about? On press is equal to, I think we have to do one of these. And then this is where we'd handle adding. And then this is where we would persist and update the persist the goal transaction, persist the goal transaction junction entry. We'd also need to update the global user transaction object and global context. So I think that's kind of where we start off next, is setting it up so we can actually track the goals. I think we probably call the stream here. Next Wednesday, we'll probably sit down and start working on the logic to do this. We're probably going to want like a transaction service or like a goal service or like some type of like general service that's going to allow us to do this and not have all the data in here or all of the logic in here, because there's going to be a lot of logic to deal with this, because we need to insert it into here if it exists. If it doesn't, we're going to do some logic for that. But yeah, that's going to be step one. It's just getting these into the database, and then we'll figure out how to map them. then we'll kind of go from there. But I'm going to go ahead and call the stream here. It's been just about 2 hours. The database gave us an issue for a while, but it seemed like it was just some sort of caching or something going on with the whatever it's called. And this is really ugly right now, but we'll deal with it being ugly later. So appreciate you all for stopping by. Next stream I'm going to go ahead and start working on the logic to actually basically open one of these up, and we're going to have to figure out how to prevent default, because we're going to figure out how to prevent propagation. Direct native prop or press event. Because propagation is going to be an issue. Because you can do this. Let's see if this works. We want this to be able to there we go. Does it just mad us because that didn't work? I don't even think on touch end is a thing. What if I can do this? I have to make this like really ugly. Let me stop propagation from here. We want to be able to click on this. Wait. That let me. I'm stupid. This needs to be this entire thing needs to be touchable opacity, not this. Swap these. Switch this, and then we'll be done for the day. Then okay, so now hopefully, there we go, weekly spending is clickable. This entire thing is what is going on with this React Native? You gotta be kidding me. Now we can click on this, and all that stuff. Alrighty, yo. So we are gonna go ahead and call it here. Next time around, we're gonna go ahead and start working on actually tracking these and getting them in the database. And then once we get them in the database, we can start actually like mapping them into the global user transaction object and all of that good stuff. So appreciate you all for stopping by. This has been Ethan Encoder, and I'll see you all in the next stream on Monday for some Minecraft.